Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to my witches, warlocks, and wanderers who is ever out there, whatever time you're watching. I hope you're having a wonderful week. It is November 6th. We just had the election. We're not going to talk much about politics, but I'm here to distract you if you're finally glad that this craziness is over. I have a couple of things I'm going to share because I did a little haul. I ran to go get tape, and my local Fred Meyer's was having a 90% off Halloween sale. So I grabbed a few things. And I'm going to mention a little bit about what this Apple update did to me and why things are going to look and feel a little bit different. All right, so let me run the opener and we'll cover the talking points along with our sprints. And I'll see you in a second. Okay, so as you noticed, the opener is a little different, simply because I went to do, well, let me start over. The opener is different, but I'll get to that. First, we're going to cover talking points, which is going to take about 10 minutes of our 20 minutes that we normally do. 10 to 15 minutes of talking points, and then we're going to head into 20 minutes of sprints. For those of you who are new here, that's how we do things. We do 20 minutes of talking points, 10 to somewhere in between there. We do talking points first, intermixed with 20-minute sprints. And I really am going to be sprinting today. And this stream might be actually a long stream today because I'll tell you in a second. So, yeah, it has been a very long weekend or long week for many of us. If you even noticed, I'm having to do a lot of decompressing and grounding to stay calm because it has just been crazy. The energies the last, especially 3 days, they've literally been so insane. I've been hiding and watching. And from the football game, from Halloween to All Saints Day and the lifting of the veil and the new moon, to the football games this weekend, to the stuff that was going on with other things. And it's just, I feel like today is actually a day where a lot of us can actually breathe for the first time in maybe a month, at least how I feel. On the good note, all my favorite things are on sale because Halloween is over, and that's what happens with Halloween. Hold on one second, guys. Oh, the excitements of live streaming. Okay, sorry about that. I do live with other people, and my mother is a piano player and a singer, and she was about to start practicing. And she doesn't like being on camera. She doesn't like being on screen. So I know my mic is going to pick it up. So I didn't want her to have to deal with that. Also, my light has decided to go out. So I have to fix that real quick. Hold on. And I think it's simply because it's overheating, which it feels like it is. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do about that. Because, yeah. Oh, well. So we're going to have to live without my glorious light. It is what it is. I'll probably have to buy a new one. For a lot of you are probably dealing with the same things right now because just these energies have literally been causing things to completely fall apart and go crazy. For example, but as I was saying before, um, I'm super stoked. It is the end of the holidays, but at the same time, I'm also super stoked because Halloween stuff is on sale. So the first part of these talking points, I'm going to be showing off my little haul that I ended up getting this morning by accident, simply because I went for tape for my Book of Shadows so that I could continue with that project. And I came across an entire table of Halloween items that were 90% off. And I was like, 90% off? So then I want to talk about how coincidental things are, because I find it crazy that since the veil lifted, since we've had these solar flares go off, and while we've been waiting for one of the three, it was a 3X class flare that we got a week ago, we've had two crazy football games where Sunday nights football and Monday nights football were insane. They were nuts. The games, I usually don't see games that are that entertaining, and I had it playing on in the background, and I literally stopped my work to watch the game because it was so good. So if you are able to go back and watch any highlight reels from, it was the one that I watched all of them, but the one that I'm talking about is the Rams on Sunday and the Vikings on Monday. And forgive me if I can't remember the other team, but yeah, we're talking, I haven't seen so many teams do so many plays in one, where you have an end-to-end field goal, field goal. You had, interceptions galore. You had ball exchanges. You had blocks. You had, like, they were such good games. But along with that was Sunday and Monday. Then Tuesday we had this. We all know what happened Tuesday. We're not going to talk about it that much. I'm happy. I don't know about everybody else, but I am. But now I found this ironic because this is day 4, and we just happened to get hit with a 2.3x class flare from the sun. And this is interesting because for the first time in recorded history, it came from 4 separate sunspots. When this thing popped off, it ricocheted off of 4 spots. And I thought that was ironic that today is 4th day of things moving like this. And on the 5th day, tomorrow, the flare that we've been waiting for is going to sweep by the planet. So, like I said in my last stream, the angels reference that they are using these flares to initiate a change. And it was working through our dreams before, but now it is in full flux. And they said, because it was working before, they're going to use it to their advantage. And I can only imagine what is about to happen. I'm praying that we can get the economy back to a point where I can actually apply for jobs that are real. Because at this point, I swear that every job I'm applying for is like, I swear the government is giving companies like money just for having falsified job posts. And as long as it looked like they were having people apply, I don't know. There's something wrong about the fact that there's so many jobs supposedly available here in Spokane, and I haven't been able to get hired in the last 10 months versus any other time I have ever been looking for a job. Even during COVID, the longest I went was 4 months. So there's just something off about that. And yes, so keep an eye out on that, because this next solar flare, the next couple of days, it's going to be sweeping by us. You're going to want to pay attention to the energies around you. Try not to react. The one thing that I'm noticing is it's like the demons are at play. And they are trying to get you to react. They are trying to piss people off. The last thing you need to do is react. Just stay calm, let it play out. And a perfect example of this is what happened to me with this most recent update. This is so I'm sorry to editing Christy that this is probably going to be broken up because this is still going to be hard for me to say. I completely lost, I completely lost everything on my computer from the last 6 months since April. And this happened because Kibby decided that she was going to, after 11 hours of editing videos, go ahead and run the update that Apple software initiated, and should have probably been paying attention better to what she was clicking, because instead of clicking replace, I clicked remove. I am eternally grateful to my mother for giving me this in April. And I'm glad that I plugged it in and backed up my computer, because I would have lost my entire book, my entire everything. I would have lost everything again. There was something about it where I almost lost my temper. I almost started screaming. My Italian, Irish, German almost came out, and something my angels said to me, don't. They're trying to make you mad. And I flashed to my dream that I talked about actually on my last live stream, about how in my dream there was something just telling me, they're trying to piss you off. Don't let them. Just calm down. So I did. I calmed down, took a deep breath, called it a night, went to my room, took a lot of my meds, including a gummy, if you, my herbal medication, if you know what I mean, and a gummy, and went to bed. The next morning I woke up and I was working around on my desk, and I opened my binder for my book. Lo and behold, everything that pretty much I lost, I had printed out and made a copy of. And I don't know if that was just from past experience of some stuff like this happening to me, but yeah, so I will be spending the sprints today literally retyping everything I'd been working on book-wise and outline-wise for the last 6 months. That also means, if you've noticed, things on my channel have changed a little bit. That's because I lost everything for my channel, from the background to the profile picture to the watermark to the openers and the close, everything, the timer, everything. For some strange reason, I didn't back up my YouTube stuff. So somehow, some way, I ended up managing to figure everything back out. And I think I made it better. So we have I thought my opener is a lot better. I think my closer is a lot better. I think I have my layout, the way my stuff is organized and laid out, a lot more better. And we'll see what happens going forward. But I found it coincidental that last stream I talked about how in my dream, things had shifted. Like, it was still the same dream, but things had shifted. And my angels were telling me, don't let them piss you off. It's going to be fine. And kind of the same thing equated in real life later. And so for the rest of you, for anybody who's listening, if this is similar, I would look back on about a week to 2 weeks ago and see, is this something that happened? Were you having dreams or anything like that? Do you pay attention to your dreams like that? If not, you should be writing them down for exactly this reason. But go back, look. So did you have any dreams like that? Because I know several other people did too. And my client didn't, which I was surprised about. But anyway, and then I'm gonna swing into the comments, because I see there are people in the comments, and then I'm gonna show off my Fred Meyer's haul from today, and then we're gonna get into our first sprint. So hi Cora, hi everyone, here for a tiny bit. I have to do schoolwork, yes, with my son for a little bit, and then make some scam calls. Nice. Also, I have a note to call you, which reminds me. But thank you for coming in and watching, and I hope that you and your son can get some work done. I don't know how you're going to get some work done with me yammering in your ear, but homework with the little ones, how fun. So I'm going to show off my receipt from this morning. My eyeball. Just so you can get an idea. I originally was supposed to pay somewhere around, my savings was $60, if y'all can see that. Bam. But I could not believe the pricing of all of this. So just keep that in mind, that most of this stuff was cheaper than the dollar store. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to show off is my little pumpkin net. So, and this is going to be coming back here in a second because I'll show you something that I got with it. So it's just a little pumpkin with the hole in the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that well, but it's got this hole right here. And that was, I don't even know the price on it. I would have to look, but it was under $1. So just know that. So there's that. Then I got this pumpkin candle with a little pumpkin on it. And I think he was on sale because I think he looks a little scary, but I'm going to put some eyebrows on him and see if I can like dress him up to be a little bit more. And it does. It's got this, I didn't even smell it when I bought it, but it's got this like clean, what would I call that? It's like a clean autumn is what I'd call that. Does it tell us what it is at the bottom? No, it doesn't. So under $1, giant candle, giant wick. So there was that. And then we got, and I thought it was an actual working bottle. It's not. It's got the hole in the bottom. But again, for under $1, and look at the little bat. Look at the little bat on the top. So that was thing. And sticking with the bat theme, I got this little bat sign thing, and it does hang. It's got its little rope here, so it hangs. So I got that for decoration for my room as well, or background, whatever. Okay, and then last thing is we got this candle. I can't. There we go. It's reflecting really bad. It's because my light went out, but we'll discuss the ring light situation later. So I'm sorry it's such bad lighting. However, it is Fred Meyer stuff and it's on sale. So, and I bought this myself. But the cool thing about this candle is this. So when I display it, I'll have it where it's just like that. So, and I got all that for all that stuff was $1. So $5 for all of that. Like, come on. So if you, and Fred Meyer's for those of you, okay, and Fred Meyer's for those of you that don't live out in the Pacific Northwest is like a Vaughn's or a Ralph's here in San Diego or California, or a Wegmans on the East Coast. So if you're wondering what is Fred Meyer's, that's kind of what it is. It equates to a Vaughn's and a Ralph's or a Wegmans, and 90% off. Yes. So we are going to hop into a sprint now. So Cora can maybe get some work done with her son, and that I can also get some work done and maybe look into figuring out why my light is not working. Well, I know it's overheating. It's overheating, which is why I think it's needs to be replaced. Oh, the fun of productions. So let me pop on our little timer here. And again, so first of all, you all have to forgive me. The timer is not the way I want the timer to be. It will change at last minute, literally 20 minutes before the stream started. I opened the timer that I had, and it was like, oh no, we're not going to work. Even though you copied us over from the hard drive, for some reason, we're not going to work. So I had to create a timer in less than like 20 minutes. So this is a quick slap, literally quick slap together timer. So excuse the timer for what it is. It's going to be better inevitably. Anyway, I will see you guys in 20 minutes. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. And don't forget to mute yourself. All right, so time up. That was 20 minutes of a sprint. I got a lot done. Fixed my ring light. We'll see how long it lasts. If it lasts at all, I might have to replace it. It was like a cheapy $5 ring light, honestly, and it's lasted me like I think 4 or 5 years. So I was able to get a lot of work done. I'm actually kind of glad that this happened because truthfully, I'm able to add in a lot of extra notes to this outline that it's simply now that I'm reading over this outline, I'm like, I'm missing some stuff. So this might be a blessing in disguise, which things often are with me. I hope the rest of you were able to get some work done. I hope Cora was able to get some work done with her little boy. But we're going to truck right along with that on the next 20-minute sprint. But we're going to zip right into talking points. Continuing on the little topic of bats, I was able to do one of the WitchCasket spells. If you haven't noticed, I'm actually wearing one of their pieces, the rose pendant, but I was able to actually do one of their spell kits with the bat pillow. And I have to admit, because it is a soothing bath pillow, I have been doing that a lot the last couple of days. I actually carried this in my pocket today. And while I was while I was walking around the store, I could actually smell it coming out of my purse. And it was really nice. So I have my little, if you guys don't get the WitchCasket, it came with everything from the little felt bat to the string, to the stuffing, to the chamomile, lavender, and everything else that's inside. And it smells incredible. So that was just something else that I wanted to add on to the little bat thing because I may not necessarily do it that much on my channel, but I do spell casting in the background. And that was one of those things where I think it's actually helped me the last couple days because I did it on Friday when stuff was just tough in my life and things weren't, well, yeah. Let's just say my mom and I tend to butt heads very strongly sometimes about things. And that's what happened. And so I did this spell kit to try to make things, just soothe things over and make them better. And it's been helping me the last couple of days. So I'm really stoked on that. So thank you, WitchCasket, again. If you guys are interested in it, you can go to WitchCasket. And if you are a subscription holder, you can buy this spell kit from WitchCasket. So I highly recommend doing their subscription box because I've been watching a lot of these advent calendar unboxings this year. And I'm a little upset because I'm a November baby and I hate fast forwarding through and, speed stomping November into the holidays. However, I do love advent calendars. And I always, as a kid, I remember seeing advent calendars as these amazing things that were, if you were interested in a company or their products, you could buy the advent calendar as a gift, get a little bit of a discount on it, and actually get some good quality things from the company to be able to base whether you want to continue purchasing from them or not. Nowadays, it just seems like they're a dumping ground for all the stuff that wouldn't sell that season or prior seasons. And some of these Harry Potter boxes that I'm watching getting unboxed, I'm actually grateful that I chose to do the subscription box instead of the advent calendars because I way better quality. Switching pace a little bit. Another thing I wanted to show off, that is kind of a little bit more of like purchases and hauls and stuff. I do, if you saw my Halloween stream, I did my makeup on the Halloween stream. And one thing I came across when I went to go do that stream is I realized a lot of my makeup was expired. And a lot of my go-to makeup was expired. How do I know this? Oh, maybe because it was changing colors. So I had to go out and kind of buy makeup, new makeup to replace my old makeup, which is not easy to do right now because for some reason makeup has superseded in pricing lately. I mean, the most recent makeup eyeshadow I was looking into was like $45 for a 2-pan. I get it. I get it. Quality, you know, you're paying for quality. I get it. Well, I did my research and I found this. And I'm going to do a TikTok on it. No, this is not paid. I bought this myself. Everything I show on my channels, I bought myself. But the colors in this palette are literally everything I own and wear. From the blues to, and I hate pink. I hate pink. So that's about as much pink as in my closet. And that's actually more the coloring. So when I saw this pan, I was like, I have to try this. And as you can see, I've already smudged. I've already dipped my fingers in it. When I say the quality of return, this was a $20 pan. I got it at Walmart or Walgreens. The quality of these eyeshadows compared to some of the more expensive ones. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be not spending as much money on makeup as I used to before because this was only $20. There's so many colors in here. With how little I wear makeup, it just makes more sense. So that was another thing I wanted to show off, but I just love the colors in that because they're exactly my aesthetic. Exactly my aesthetic. And then the other thing, the next thing I wanted to talk on, sorry for anybody who's watching that I just did that too. That looked intense to me. So two things I'm going to cover real quick because I have been binge watching two things. One, of course, Law Nerds, because there's a lot going on in the Sarah Boone case. There's a lot going on in the Karen Reed case. There's a lot of movement going on. The Kohlberger case is about to start. We have several other cases that might be coming back around and rearing their ugly heads. We've got the Menendez. Everybody struggles with this. The Menendez brothers situation. So I'm going to be touching on that. But the other thing that I have literally been binge watching and obsessed with is you can officially call me a bitchette. I have joined the Back to the Bar Patreon and the Dear Dance Moms Patreon. I'm obsessed. It got to a point where I was listening to the podcast and they were having guests and visitors right and left. And by the third time they mentioned somebody's name, I was like, first they had Brooke, then they had Chloe, then they had Paige, and then Kathy. And I fell for it. I had to. So I have been binge watching all the videos for Dance Moms. And there's two things that I use very regularly in my life that make me giggle every single time. And if you are a Back to the Bar lover or Dance Moms lover, you're going to understand both of these. Trust me. Okay. So this is for all of you diehard Dance Moms fans. Okay. The first thing I have, and you can tell that I use it all the time. Look, it's the new lash glue. Every time I grab this, I think about that. So I have to thank Christy for mentioning this on national television, because not only did 10 years ago when she mentioned it, I go, oh my gosh, I know what she's talking about. But now every time I grab this when I'm doing art, which is very often, if you look on my channel, I actually did a video, just posted a video recently of all my artwork. I think of Dance Moms and Back to the Bar. And every time that I'm listening to the podcast of Back to the Bar while I'm doing my art and I grab this, it's just, it's a trifecta, and I just smile a little bit. So there's that. The next thing. I have my own fur. This actually lives on my couch. Every time I walk by it in my living room or I go upstairs or whatever and I see it, it reminds me of Jill's fur vest. And it just makes me giggle every time. Every time it just makes me giggle. So those are the two things that if you're a diehard Dance Moms fan, you should be laughing your butt off right now. So we have E6000 and my furry pillow. Okay. I love it. And that's the thing. I love watching Dance Moms because 2 reasons. A, when Dance Moms came out, I hadn't been dancing for some time. However, dance was always a love of mine. I wish I had been a good competition dancer. I wasn't. I started karate after I finished dance, and there was a lot of dance strategy and holding of the body and knowing how to spot and everything else that really, really did help me advance very quickly in karate. So there's that part of me that's kind of like that little girl that misses karate. And then there was the side of course, my mom being a production and putting on musicals. So I kind of knew that backside. And then thirdly, I was at that age where I knew of dance moms or like actual dance moms in my area. I mean, I grew up in LA and in San Diego. I mean, they were everywhere in Studio City, truthfully. So it was one of those things where I was just like, I love this show from every angle. And on one of the podcasts, Chris, I just want to touch on this real quick because there's a lot of people that say that this is that Dance Moms is like their therapy or whatever. The truth is the reason I love Dance Moms so much is not because it was therapy. The truth is because I grew up in chaos. My mom was always doing musicals or doing productions. We were always running we were either building sets or going to get costumes or running to Michael's or the makeup shop or going downtown to the children's theater to get props there was always something going on where in Dance Moms, their chaos of running around and last minute stuff was kind of the environment I grew up in. And so for me, it's like white noise in the background until like drama happens. And then it's like, oh, and then for me, it's just like a little bit of the drama makes me pause in my day. And it makes me stop and kind of look and pay attention to what's going on. And I realized that it's actually like kind of like these sprints where when the drama happens in Dance Moms and I hear it go off and I turn to pay attention to it, it's that mental break that I need from whatever I've been working on, where when I go back to what I'm doing, I actually enjoy going back to what I'm doing. And I don't know if this is just something I subconsciously learned to do because of my ADD, or if this is just, if there's other people that do this out there, but I just wanted all the dance girls and dance moms to know that I binge watch. I've purchased every season. I listen to it just randomly in the background. Not right now because I got my podcasts that I'm now catching up on. However, that's what I listen to it for, is because it actually makes me feel like I'm back in the normalcy of what I had when I was a kid. And even though this sounds crazy, they really were happy times. I loved going to those theaters and seeing the racks and racks of costumes. And even though I wasn't allowed to touch and play, just seeing them. I mean, I remember once the San Diego Children's Theater literally had a costume shop that was 3 stories, and they had them on those, those racks that they have at the dry cleaners. That's what it was. And it was just costumes, like giant rails of costumes. And it just, I cannot tell you how happy I was walking into that place as a kid. I was like, Oh, I thought Disneyland was amazing. Oh my God. And then like same with their props shop. And I got to go a lot. I think I brought this up to my mom. I don't think she honestly remembers like how many different places I got to go simply because I had to be with her while she was running errands, and just days spent at the school in the theater building sets and watching them at the kitchen table come up and design the sets, and then watching them going with them to Home Depot and buying everything, and then going to the theater on Saturday and doing the workup, and then after the workup is finished, working with the lights and the sound to see if this and the curtains to see if it actually works on set, and that's why. So I don't want them to think that we're listening and watching it because it's like, oh, we get to watch these children suffer. Truthfully, there's a part of me that my heart relates, and I actually find a little bit of a weird comfort in it, simply because I was raised kind of in that. And not only that, but I can also understand there's a lot of people that were as hard on me as Abby was on the girls, and it did more damage than good. And in the long run, it really did harm more than help. And luckily for me, the people that did it to me I believe, were coming from a good place. They didn't have a TV show fueling their fire. I think for me, it was more who I was and who my mother was, but that's a whole nother topic for another time. But I just want to let the moms know that I really appreciate the fact that they are not only with Dear Dance Moms answering the fun questions along with the hard questions and giving honest answers, but also for Back to the Bar, for Christine Kelly reviewing all this stuff. I know it's not easy for them. I've been through DBT. I've been through 30 years of counseling. I know how hard it is to go back to past mistakes and past situations and rehash them and decide whether your actions were right or wrong, if there was a better course of action that you could have taken. Like, I've done it. I know what it's like to have to break all that stuff down. It's not easy. And I just want to, yeah. So I subscribe to both their podcasts simply because I'm going to support good people. And for those of you who have never thought to go listen, it's free on all the podcast stations, but Patreon, you can actually watch them on video. And I started just listening, which satisfied me for a minute until, yeah, I fell for your advertising, ladies. You did it. Props on the advertising. You got me. You pulled me in. You kept mentioning all these side videos. And the only thing I'm disappointed, though, is I thought that with the first level subscription, I would get the after party, and you don't. And I simply can't afford, literally, I cannot afford to go any higher than where I got. But I'm happy to see the videos at least. The next thing is, we're just going to touch on this real quick because truthfully, there's going to be forward movement in all this stuff. And I'm hoping that Cora and I can get together and start this more law conversation channel, which is why I'm keeping a lot of my notes about the law stuff kind of to the side for now, simply because if it does take off, I want to be able to have all that stuff to talk about and not repeat myself on 2 different channels. But Sarah Boone is Did y'all see that? My mouth decided it wasn't going to work. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay, but that's why you're all here for the live, so you can watch the fun. Okay, so Sarah Boone, second degree. She was found guilty of second degree murder. However, she has requested a retrial. Her basis were several things that I saw happen, or that I, along with the other law nerds during the live stream, were like, wait, that I bet you she's going to try to request a retrial on that one. So, and one of them being the shout out from the cast member. No, my head's still on that. From the audience member at the actual trial, which I didn't even think it was that big of a disruption. Truthfully, I watched it myself. I was watching it live myself, and I didn't even, yes, I heard it, but they excused themselves so quickly. You couldn't tell what they were expelling about. Truthfully, when it happened, my first immediate response was, "Lady, I don't blame you." Because I was feeling kind of that way. She truthfully, all she did was verbally express how I was actually feeling. So I don't think there's going to be a retrial on that, simply because it I understand court etiquette, but I don't think it affected the jury as much as they're trying to say. And there were other points, but I'm going to keep them just in case. The other thing is Karen Reed wants a delay on her retrial, simply because it looks like they are doing new discovery until April 1st, or sorry, they want to push discovery until April 1st. They have multiple new experts, and it looks like, truthfully, what it looks like is they're politely trying to tell the court that all of our officers, all of our witnesses are under investigation by the federal government. So we can't use them in the next trial. So we're trying to get we're actually trying to build a case now, and we need time to do that. And if I were the judge, I would laugh at them. I would be like, no, you didn't want to take this seriously in the first place, which truthfully, for any of you involved in the Karen Reed trial, as somebody who watched it in the general public, I didn't take any of y'all seriously. None. The defense was the only side I believed. It was a joke. It was laughable. Absolutely laughable and disgraceful. I mean, and I don't mean laughable in funny haha way. I mean laughable like, yeah, you all should be investigated by the federal government, and you all should be absolutely appalled and ashamed of your behavior. Those text messages were downright disgusting. And have that conversation with your buddies over beer. Physical evidence is not the best way, especially on your work phone as a police officer. And as a daughter of someone who worked in the police department and has several family members who not only work in the police department, but were MPs, I just hope and pray that that's not the norm for that class of people on that side of the country, if I'm going to put it nicely. So that's all I'm going to say on that stuff, because I want to save the rest of my notes for if Cora and I are able to start this other law channel. The next thing, and we're going to jump into another sprint here, but after the sprint, I am going to talk. I'm going to touch base on a book that I've discovered that I recently purchased, and a couple other things. Oh, reminds me, I got to get my list, and a couple other things. I'll get my list while we're on the sprint. Let me put this up first so that we can actually do our little sprint. And I will see you all in 20 minutes. All right. 3, 2, 1, and sprint. And don't forget to mute. All right, that's the end of that 20 minutes. A lot done. Give me a second because I had to pull out the pictures and everything to be able to cross-reference for certain things for my book. But I really am. I'm looking at Apple doing what they did as a real blessing in disguise, because there's a lot I'm able to add to this outline that I wanted to add before, and I don't know why I did, and now I'm just going to take the time to do it, so might as well. Going back into our talking points, one thing I wanted to touch on before I show off the book is I made a prediction before Halloween and it was regarding the weather and the storm in Florida in the South and the Gulf of Mexico. I have noticed watching some weather channels that my prediction has come true. Most people, when I made that prediction, were like, we're not going to have a hurricane in November. No. And it happened. And according to a lot of the models, it's showing exactly what I thought it was going to do, where it's going to go straight up the coast. And I think what some people are missing, and I think what the models are missing, that my angels are telling me that everything is missing, is that this storm that is dumping snow and everything else onto Colorado, with the storm that just swept through and caused tornadoes in Oklahoma, is going to feed. For some reason, they're not seeing that this is going to feed the Gulf of Mexico. And I'm hoping I'm wrong. I am sending as much energy as I can towards it to break it up. Um, it, but it is what it is. There's only so much you can do. Also, there is a complete and total uptick in the amount of earthquakes that are happening. And I even have in my notes, because I did get my notes, the Blanco fracture zone, which is a major fault line right off the coast of Oregon. They were having earthquakes at the same time as our solar flares. I'm watching it very closely for this solar flare that's about to impact us tomorrow to see if it causes any more activity. However, the Popocatépetl in Mexico has erupted big time. They've expanded the evacuation field. The volcanoes in Iceland have erupted even more. They've expanded the fields, the evacuation fields. There's a lot of stuff that's going on geologically. If you're not paying attention, earthquake storms have picked up off the coast of New Zealand. It's pretty much everywhere around the Ring of Fire is going off. It's going crazy. I'm hoping that now that the energies of humans is going to calm down a little bit because of this most recent, just basically now that we all know what happened yesterday is over. I'm hoping that that along with the craziness of the bioelectrics and the Schumann resonance is just going to calm down a little bit, and we're not going to have that big of an influence. However, just be aware. Even my little channel that I get mad at because I swear they downplay everything. I think it's interesting because they're even kind of changing the way they're mentioning things when it comes to the Ring of Fire and the earthquakes and everything else. So I thought it was just interesting that my storm prediction kicked in or just happened to come true. I have a lot of predictions that come true, and it still astonishes me when they come true. For instance, I always tell people always ask me questions about football games. I don't know when people ask me what the outcome of the game is going to be if the other side knows you're going to gamble. However, on both Sunday and Monday, I said halfway through the game, why do I have a feeling this is going to go into overtime? Like, I just said it randomly. I remember with the Rams game, I was actually going upstairs, and I was talking to my friends on Discord, and I said, why do I have a feeling this is going to go into overtime as a tied game? Ended up going into overtime. Same with Monday. Like, it was like second, because I really don't watch games until the second quarter. Just the way I am. I'm sorry. I always figure first quarter is just like them trying to, like, I don't feel like there's really any competition in first quarter because it's like you're learning each other. You're just getting to know the swing and deal of things. So I don't really watch first quarter. I watch from second quarter on. And so both my predictions happened in second quarter. And I was just like, that's interesting. And I did call the election. I knew who was going to win on the election. So it's kind of like I have literally had confirmation every single day of a major prediction that I've made in the past 2 weeks. And it's kind of blowing it. Sometimes be careful what you wish for, because I asked my angels if I could start having a little bit more confirmation on things, on my predictions. And now that I'm kind of getting like, oh, okay. Also, I don't know why, but I'm going to give a shout out to my ex. My ex, how can I say it without being too my ex-husband. To my ex-husband. That's the easiest way to do it. If you're going through tough times right now, I'm really sorry. I hope whatever I'm hearing and whatever I'm seeing and whatever I'm feeling that I am absolutely 100% wrong on. I hope that you are happily married with a wonderful family and a house and cars and a great job. And I really do. I really do. I pray and I hope and I wish and I pray that I am so freaking wrong on everything that I'm hoping that I'm seeing and hearing. But if I am right, just know that there are people in the past that you may have hurt that still care about you. I mean, there's a part of me that hates you. However, I fell in love with you when I was 14. We were together for a long time, and there's people out here that still care. So if you're going through a tough time, just know it's not all bad. You, if anything, you know how tough times can be. And you can, look at me. Hi. So I had to say that because there has been some really strong messages that I've been getting, and I am not reaching out to you in any way on social media, on nothing. This is the only way that I will reach out to you, and you can find it and figure it out or have it said, I don't care. But no, I'm not going to send you a message, because I'm not going to create even more chaos in your life if that's what's going on. However, if I also feel like just getting the message out there, well, yeah, obviously getting the message out there, I hope he feels it, and I hope it brings him a little bit of peace if he is struggling right now, because I don't know, I tap into him and I feel like my heart hurts, and I know it's not me. So I hope that everything is going great for him. And I know, and for everyone else that's out there, right now, yes, if you got things flipped on the head for you, if life literally got flipped on the head for you, this is a huge wake-up call for you. That's what this slip was all about. It was to basically give a wake-up call to those who weren't listening. If you have been trying to fake your way through life up until this point, even with the way they made you have to face reality in 2019, you're not going to be able to do it anymore. And you probably already know it, because if it hasn't happened yet, it is you're in the middle of it and you just haven't seen it yet. The only way to fix this is to change course. Most people that I'm seeing, I've had probably about 6 or 7 people come to me asking what do they do, and every single time I'm seeing that they have to completely change course. They're making people do a complete 180 and kind of wake up and realize that maybe what they've been trying to do all this time wasn't working, and new tactics being applied is what's going to work. And I've already seen this happen in my life. Shout out to my mom. I love you. I love you. I'm not even going to get into it, but you know why I love you. And I'm really happy about that, because tomorrow's my birthday and I needed it. So everybody else, and now we're going to take a deep breath and we're going to remove the negative mojo. We're going to do a little lavender spritz. And we're going to go into the next talking points, because this is going to be intense. And I am going to go into this simply because I want to give my prediction, because I want to see if it's going to happen the way it's happened. Okay. Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI. Okay. And this is stuff that I've kept my mouth shut about for quite some time. Okay. Mr. Logan Paul is not going to remember me. I know he's not going to remember me. However, I met him about 10 years ago. I met this young man about 10 years ago in passing in LA. And I remember somebody introducing him to me, and I'm like, yeah, and him talking his thing and how he was going to be like, at the time when I met him, he was just starting to get on the up and up. And I remember thinking to myself after meeting him, I remember chuckling and thinking, yeah, either you're going to be the greatest success to downfall story in history, or this is never going to take off. Simply by his personality, I knew. Fast forward several years later, I watched this man go through so much drama on YouTube, and then try to start a boxing career. I mean, crypto scam too. And the crypto scam came out, I was just like, oh my gosh, I knew it. I knew it. And then he tried to become a boxer, and I was like, well, of course he tried to become a boxer, because anybody who knows the backside, who lives in LA, Vegas, and Hollywood, knows, yeah, 90% of those people, that's where their money goes, is gambling. They're addicted to it. So it would totally make sense that, yeah, he's gonna now fight I wonder if he owed a debt. That's actually where I came with that. I was like, I wonder if you bet on something and you couldn't pay and your payment was to become a boxer and box somebody. Like, why do I feel like there is a higher triangle hierarchy up here that is so that happened and I just giggled because I was like, this is ridiculous. And then he got married and had a kid. And I was like, okay, girl. All right, you've got an influence now. You've got a wife, you got a kid. We're going to wake up, right? This 20-year-old shenanigans that even I pulled in my 20s is going to end, right? 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 No. It's almost like he doubled down. And if there's anybody who is now understanding what we meant by the shift, exposing the truths about things, Logan Paul is a perfect example because instead of learning his lesson and deciding to go quietly into the night with his wife and his child, he decided to double it down and create Prime, which in less than 6 months took a bigger curve than it's like everything he's done has had the same curve. It just keeps getting bigger. It's like they're trying to get him to understand that he needs to stay here and not keep doing this. And now, lunchily. Okay. The worst people you could ever get involved with if you were Logan Paul is KUSI. Okay. I understand that there is this boys club. Okay, I do understand. We watched it fall with the Murdaugh trial. Okay, we watched it fall with Girardi. Okay, we have watched the boys club fall coast to coast. This shift blew the rug off of everything. So I know what Logan Paul, KOSI, and all of them were thinking. They were thinking that they're just gonna, since all these other people have now fallen, they're just gonna slide right in there and they're gonna create this, whatever. The only problem is A, you're hyping to kids who are spending their parents' money who eventually are gonna catch on. B, you are now being sued by the Olympics. Not only that, but you're being sued by your manufacturing company. Saying this like you're being sued by these people. What I'm saying is, bro, if you really think that your reputation is going to recover after this situation, like and that's the hard and that's one of the hardest parts for this is I really wanted to go into trying to tell Logan Paul how to maybe redirect and literally the angels are like there is no way to tell him where to go until he navigates through this. Because if he doesn't navigate through what he's going through right now carefully, there will be no next step. He will have to completely rely on his wife's income. And not only that, but they're showing me that if he even tries to maneuver this into where he uses his child to start creating a channel, the amount of backlash that he will receive will supersede anything else. It's almost like I'm hearing that they're like, he needs to duck his head and let it go and let things calm down and recover. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll get enough insight to be able to direct him at this point. But they're like, he has literally blown up every single path that he had in front of him at this point that we can't tell him where to go until the pieces land. Like, this is the worst case scenario that you could possibly have. And I've been there. And I think, like, I think that's why there's part of me that's almost just like, bro, I feel bad for you. I've been there. I remember how hard it was putting these pieces back together, like waiting. Like, I remember how hard it was, especially me as someone who continuously likes to just keep moving forward, to put a pause on things and wait for things to settle is the worst torture you can do to me. And as they're referencing it now, they're like, we will implement torture if you're not listening. And for everybody, their level of torture is different. Their punishment is different. That your angels will make you slow down differently based on who you are. And I'm hearing that they tried multiple times with Logan to try to get him to listen. Like, from what I can see, there was at least 3 hits before this one that he didn't pay attention to. It's almost like Abby Lee Miller situation. Like, you can go back on their timelines and see there were several hits that you incurred that was like your angels were trying to get you to go, hello, wake up. You're feeding the wrong vices here. You are sending the energy the wrong way, and there's only one way this can continue a buildup like this can continue going. The smart people in Hollywood, if you notice, they'll have success, then a lull. Success, then a lull. Success, then a lull. Like, we're not going to talk about, I just, for some reason, I heard somebody mentioned a specific actor, and we're not going to talk about those people that have a religious whatever backing them or decided to create their own church to back them. Okay. We're not going to mention those people because they don't count. I'm talking more about the long term, like, look over the last 50 years, the actors and actresses that were the most successful long term. That's exactly the kind of, they did a stepping stair. You do that extreme of a high, you will fall. And I just want to say that I said it wrong in the last live, and when I did the talking points, I actually posted her name, but I made a point. Thank you, Roseanne Pansino. Roseanne Pansino. Her channel. She started out, this girl, I love this girl. And she's a perfect example of how your angels can guide you where they want you to go to do what you are actually supposed to be doing in life, because she started out as a cooking channel. And now she is literally helping to fight for the rights of the little people. And if that's not a course guided by angels, I don't know what is. So, and I'm getting goosebumps. So I want to thank Roseanne Pansino, first of all, for listening, for taking a leap of faith, literally, because that's what you had to do in order to go from the cooking channel to starting to do this. However, your angels are saying that you already know it was the correct course of action, because it's obvious to you. The blessings that are continuously coming and the feeling behind them, which is the most important. Yeah. So so for Roseanne Pansino, if you were wondering if you're doing the right thing, just know that from everything I can hear on the other side, there's so many angels that have your back. And it's not just your family. There's a lot of famous people that are like, this is the kind of stuff that they're helping to expose. And they're like, yeah. Wow, there's so many that just came in. They're like, we are sick of this kind of manipulation, and the more that we can help for people like her, good people, to expose it, the more we're going to do it. So if you're curious at all, I would go check out Roseanne Pansino's channel, because not only does go to her previous videos, because she does have some amazing recipes, but also go into her deep dives into this whole Logan Paul Lunchley situation, because if there's anybody like Emily D. Baker to back and support, Roseanne Pansino is another one. And as soon as I have the money and I could be able to, I would completely be a member of her channel. I'm broke, guys. My subscriptions to Back to the Bar and Dear Dance Moms was my birthday present to myself. So we're going to jump into another sprint here. I am going to use the potty and do a couple of things. Things might move here because my laptop is running out of battery, so I do need to plug it in, but I figure I'll just let it charge for the 20 minutes. Oh, Cora! Hey, you got done with calls. Now I have to edit. Just walking in with you talking about Logan Paul. To me, he's a douche. He's a Well, then you probably just loved the little rant that I just went on. Oh, how things are lining up. So, but I was talking about Mr. Beast simply because Logan Paul connected with Mr. Beast to do this Lunchly thing, and KUSI and Mr. Beast are like the last two people that you would. It's almost like the universe took the three worst scum on YouTube and went, look, we're just gonna have you three come together with what you think is an amazingly good idea for ultimately the public to take all three of you down, because it's easier to kill three birds with one stone. That's what I feel like is happening here. We'll have to see what happens. But that's why I held off on saying anything about Mr. Beastly or Lunchly or anything, because I had a feeling that this week was going to cause more issues. And yeah, Lunchly just came in, or Lunchables just came in with a lawsuit against Lunchly now. So not only is Prime facing lawsuits, Mr. Beast facing lawsuits, but now Lunchly. It all happens in threes. It's the trifecta. Like it, and I feel sorry because if you're Logan Paul, KUSI or KSI or Mr. Beast, and you're not seeing this, if you're not talking to a psychic or praying to God, like whoever or whatever you're listening to, stop. They're sending you down the wrong path. Like, and if you're not seeing it, yeah. And I just heard from the angels. They're like, girl, we've been trying to get them to see it, and if they can't see it by now, we don't know what to say. And I agree with them, because it's true. It's kind of like, and here I go. This is going to be controversial. It's kind of like the whole Abby Lee Miller thing. First, she took her dad. Then she took the dog. Then she took her mom. Then she took her ability to dance or walk. Until Abby recognizes that she abused the children and tries to rectify and fix the relationships, she will never rise to the level of fame that not only she knows she should have, but she does deserve. However, it has to be earned. Fame and respect are earned, not handed. And that's also why I'm happy about the whole diddler situation too, because a lot of the people that went to those parties and those stuff, they seem to forget that fame is earned by the fans, not handed out by the people that control the strings behind the scenes. Anyway, we're going to jump into a sprint because I need to use the potty. And I'm going to, I got to figure out I've either got to unplug my screen or my microphone in order to plug in my computer. So I'm going to have to figure that out. One of these days, I'll be able to afford a real computer. As for now, we manage. All right. So oh yeah, we got to reset. All right. In 3, 2, 1. I will see you in 20 minutes. And sprint. And don't forget to mute yourself. All right. That was another 20-minute sprint. And give me a second because I need to mark off where I got to. So it's kind of funny. I'm only halfway down on my notes page that I printed out. However, on the actual page, notes page I'm working on the computer, with how much I've added, it's now a full page. So I would have to say that I'm making really good progress with that. Also, I thought this was weird, and I'm just going to notate this on my channel. I saw a small blue light. Like it literally looked like a pinpoint blue light, and it ran past my feet and that way. And it was at 2:14 p.m., which would have been exactly 1 hour from this point. So, editing Kibby, go back and see if you see anything, because that was weird. It literally came across my side and to the back. And during my little camera off session, I took some time and I set up the stuff that I showed off earlier from my little haul. And what you see around it is my brown Renaissance Fair costume. I have to find a new corset for it, so I have it sitting out to remind me to go online shopping and match it up. So that's what all that is over there, in case you're curious. The next thing I'm going to bring up was actually something that I mentioned prior to the last sprint that I guess I forgot to talk about. Oh, hold on. I guess I'm feeding the baby during the next sprint. Well, I hope the baby got fed. Dude, 20 minutes. He got 20 minutes to eat. So the baby got 20 minutes to eat. I'm sure he's well fed. So I hope he got to eat. And you were laughing at my Logan Paul thing. So, but the next thing I wanted to talk about was this. I bought this book just on a random. Truthfully, I was at Barnes & Noble and I was passing through because I went to the mall and I was running to the mall to go check out Earthbound to find something. They didn't have it. So I was using Barnes & Noble to exit the mall. And this caught my eye on the way out. And it was sitting up in the front with all of the other books that are like mainstream books. And I thought it was weird because when I grabbed it, I saw Myths and Legends down here at the bottom. I didn't know what that. I was like, that's Hornswoggle as far as I'm concerned. However, I saw the Myths and Legends down here, and that's what intrigued me. And I listen to my angels. If something lights up in my view path and it's like calls to me and it's something like this, I'll grab it. I'll buy it. It was also 30% off. So it was meant to be. First of all, I didn't realize there was so many negative or questionable places on our planet. And I just started kind of flipping through this book because I was at Walgreens, or not Walgreens. I was at the doctor's office because I had an appointment, and I was just flipping through this. And I actually highly recommend this book, and here's why. I thought it was going to be a book of demons and stuff like that, but it's not. It is literally a book of monsters and legends. And here, I'm going to show you. This is the contents. It covers everything. It really is a complete gathering of monsters, myths, and legends on our planet. And the back cover even says, where does the boogeyman come from? What creatures feast on faithful men? How do you defeat a minotaur? What really rules a dragon? Or what really riles a dragon? Where would you find real life werewolves? I thought it was so cool. And so just flipping through it randomly, there was even the Bermuda Triangle. It even discusses the Loch Ness Monster. There's even things in here, beings and creatures and myths in here that I didn't even know about. I have found that useful because a lot like my... hold on, I'm going to go grab it real quick. Give me a second. Because it's easier for me to explain it, show it than explain it. Okay. So I have this book that I got from Earthbound. And it really is an oracle book. And what you do is basically just like you would tarot cards or whatever else. You ask a question, you flip through it, you pick a page. You are a mirror. Considering I was looking at myself on screen, it's very interesting. However, this book is one of those things where like something happens, I will grab this, I will be like, okay, what are you trying to tell me? And I'll flip and I'll get an answer. Well, sometimes I'm like, okay, is that good or bad? For some reason, this book, when I'm able to be like, okay, is that good or bad? I'm able to flip to where, like, it's like the item, like Sea of Witches. Well, obviously, I'm going to find a Sea of Witches is not a bad thing, right? So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's really weird. Some people do the same thing with Bibles. I do it with books, especially ones that I'm in tune to. So this seems to be right now my way of clarifying things and answers, because it seems right now energies are so upside down and backwards simply because they are using these energies to teach lessons to people, that it's hard to get a gauge on whether something is positive or negative, simply because when learning lessons, negatives can be positives and positives can be negatives, because you're not going to learn a lesson unless there's some sort of negative to it. But that doesn't mean that all negatives are for it's complicated. And being a psychic trying to decipher all the messages and everything else, it gets even more complicated. And that book I have found, not only has it been helping me like that, but it is so cool. Like if you have little ones, here's another thing I realized. It's like the perfect little mini storybook, because it literally goes into like eels and the raising of the dead. The eel is claimed to possess many marvelous virtues, as they're mini stories. So like bedtime, just if your kids are one of those that are the curious, fun myths and legends type stuff, this might be the actual perfect small story bedtime thing. Anyway, I wanted to brag, because it's like things I'm coming across things lately that are really just I'm in tune with, that are working and everything else. Also, do we have enough time? No, we're at the 2-hour mark. So that was our last sprint, but I will let you know that on the next sprints tomorrow, I will be doing more work on this tonight, but I do have some updates on my Book of Shadows to show off to everybody. So that will be tomorrow, but we are actually past the 2-hour mark. So we are going to call it an afternoon for now. I will, for those of you that came in and said hi, like Miss Cora, thank you so much for coming in. That's the end of our talking points for today. For those of you that enjoyed the talking points, thank you for coming in and watching. Please like and subscribe, do the YouTube-y things. And if you like this kind of stuff, just know I stream every Wednesday and Thursday. I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, Cora, I need to get a hold of you, because I would like to set up the little whole law nerdy thingy where we discuss law. I don't know if you're still too busy to do it, but we got to touch base on that so we can do it. For the rest of you, I hope you have a wonderful, awesome rest of your week, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Let's see if we can do this right. Okay, so it's supposed to, when I press my end stream, it's supposed to play the closer and just shut off the stream. We'll see if this works. Bye.